I finished up the Half-Life and the I did both calculations.
Oh, sweet. Here.
You know, else would be nice if Yusuf could give his point on because he wasn't playing.
In this game, you can have as many people as you like. There are 3 things you have to look at. You have to look at your role, which is basically what you get. So down here it says new friend, 50% probability. No new friend, 40% rejection. New friend gives you a utility point every single time. No new friend, it just basically gives you nothing. But rejection gives you adds -5 points to your thing, which basically eats up 5 of your points.
Jace was the winner here. How did you win and why?
So the way I won is I got one thing, and I guess I was really lucky that day, and I got really good rolls all the way through. Essentially, you can see the Jace column. We all have those columns essentially. So the columns, the columns that are over, yeah,
That's the Jace column. So these are random variable. This is a random variable between just 1 and 100, or 0 and
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so then the new friend is just like I explained earlier, it's 50% probability. So if you get under 50%, you get a new friend. So as you can see there, I did not get a single rejection, which is red, which is over 90%. So I only got no new friends and just friends. So that's what made me able to be win. And the utility is the the happy points essentially.
Do you want to walk them through this this calculation? I haven't seen this yet, but you said you actually banged out these calculations yesterday?
Yeah, so my
All
dad
right. Yeah, you did. Good job,
yeah,
Jace.
my dad helped me a lot on that because um I completely spaced some of the stuff. It was actually really simple. But basically um the the calculations here are very simple. The calculation I'm doing for the regular utility is just basically adding so you go down to um you go to outcome there, and then you basically say if no, if you get no, you get 0 points. If you get no, if you get new, you get one new utility. New utility. And then if you go down for rejection, we did not roll a rejection this time, so that's a really good roll. So since we didn't roll a rejection, we went over since we wouldn't take away our utility. And then my dad had the idea we could do running totals essentially. So that would basically make it to where all of the so it would count up all of our totals every single time. So when it says no, we got 0 at the starting. No, 0 at the starting. New, 1, uh and that it's on the utility. So new, and then since we added up, it's 2 now, and then 3, and then 4, 5, and then continues being 5, and then new
And that's because
6.
you're getting new friends here.
Yep.
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 So I just wanted to clarify that for the listeners. Yep.
Yeah. And Joe, if you'll double click on the utility at the middle utility in the blue square, that's the calculation there.
A round of applause for Jace jumping in here and banging out all these calculations in Excel.
Good job, Dave.
Thank you.
So we're going to use this to create another Flutter app using game theory. So the logic's quite simple, but it's a great game because this game helps us to understand some things about meeting new people. And this comes up a lot for homeschoolers too, because they have to do a lot more work on the socializing side to build that network of friends out themselves, right? And so this was a game that Isla and I created on the way to her ice skating rink. And Isla, can you just share a comment about your ice skating?
Yeah, okay. So when you think of those probabilities and then you want to get like as much utility points, right, as you can. So you probably just want to meet new people all the time, but there's a fear of rejection. So but we were also talking about how like over time, once you meet so many new people, you kind of get it's the rejection doesn't hurt as much. So then you kind of just want to meet a lot more people, get a lot more friends until you don't fear that much rejection, and then you can get as many utility points as you want. So I actually, when I went to the skating rink, I actually met someone new and made a new friend. So yeah, that was good. But I wouldn't,
You didn't do it right away. The first
yeah,
half an hour there, you were skating around, then you'd stop and be like, Dad, I'm still,
not the
no,
first half
no,
an
that,
hour, like half the time. I was just like prepping myself.
well, it's one thing in a spreadsheet game, and like Abanov was just, it was just rough for Abanov because he got rejected like a couple times, and he didn't have any new friends for like the first 5 turns. And
You can look at the spreadsheet. We still have all the data from the game.
yeah, and so it's one thing to be playing a game called friend rejection. It's a whole other thing to actually be facing this in real life. And so, when we first started the game, the first thing that happened, even though there's a 10% probability, 3 out of the 5 players all got rejected on day 1, except Jace. Jace was like, "Oh, I made a
Me and
friend."
Jace, I didn't get rejected.
Then he
Me and
made
Jace
another friend.
didn't get rejected.
So Jace was Mr. Popular, and then they had a party on turn 7. Oh, I'm sorry. We gotta say what happened during the party. Okay, so what happened? Okay, Vaughn, can you please share what happened during the party? Because this is who wanted to have the party? Who wanted to party with who?
Everybody wanted to party with Jace
Everybody wanted to party with Jason. Why was that?
because he's the popular kid and he has all the points.
He has all the friends. And so, like, if you have a party with Jace with his friends, then there was a 50% probability that his friends would become your friends. So everybody was signaling in the private message they want to party with Jace.
Well, not specifically. Me and Abanov just said everybody because we were the one with the least friends.
Yeah,
Desperate.
they were the desperate ones with no friends.
And
Or like
Cyrus wanted Jace and me.
I went for new person every single round.
Me too.
That's another thing, is it's like life is not deterministic, right? And
I
so
went for a new person all rounds, and then one round I stopped.
Jace had the same strategy basically as everybody else, but it's just that
But he just got lucky.
it's just that charisma.
Got lucky.
He got lucky. But it was really interesting to see the dynamic where the kids who didn't have very many friends were like trying to get play dates with everybody. And then Jace was like, I'm only gonna party with
Vaughn.
Because
he was the
second most
he was the
popular
one
kid.
who was in second place.
I was in second place, but then I turned first.
And because of that party, I won.
Well, you were already in the lead, but yeah,
Technically, yes.
it's a great game. It was it's a useful game at teaching.
I wish I didn't have that party. I wish I helped Abanov.
Okay, and keep in mind that this game is a game that Isla and I, through discussing, she was challenging me on some of the points to make it more realistic, but we came up with this game in about 15 minutes in a car ride to her ice skating rink, and then she used the lesson from the game to make a new friend on the rink. I got the number of the parents.
I was so nervous. Like I am fine meeting adults, okay? Because adults won't judge me. But
Oh, they judge you,
kids,
but they judge you in a very positive way. They're like, wow, you're so well spoken.
yeah,
Always
yeah,
positive.
exactly.
And then the
But
kids will reject you.
yeah, the kid will just judge and reject. And so I was like so nervous that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I was like,
But it didn't. You made a friend.
yeah.
Ira, that is such an interesting observation that you made just now, that the parents will judge you. I mean, sorry, the kids will judge you and the parents are. And it's interesting what Mr. WEquil said, that the parents will judge you too, but in a positive way. That is, wow, that is so insightful. It's sad though that you feel that way, Ira, but I have to tell you from my experience as a child, because I have been a child myself once upon a time. I was that kid who was the odd one. I never understood why, but it gets, and you're not odd at all. I'm not saying that. It's just that don't take it too seriously, because one day, and you already have, like, through this, this distance learning and through Zoom and everything, you kind of have met and made friends with people who don't judge you in a negative way. They think you're amazing and awesome. So it just, like, don't take it like, oh, kids are gonna judge me in a bad way. It's there's a whole world open to you thanks to technology, so you don't have to limit yourself to the kids at the ice skating rink. You know what I'm saying? Or the kids in your neighborhood, because there are kids out there who will totally be like, wow, Isla is so cool, you know. And just don't limit yourself to, just because these kids think something negative about you, it doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I was just skating around the ice rink like half the time, just trying to figure out which girl my age looked the most friendly and mature.
This was one of the versions of the game that I think it helps to keep building on this learning tool, is that the more you go through the experience of rejection, I think it's kind of like driving down the road for adults and seeing road ragers, where it's like the first dozen times that you see a person on the road that's doing something stupid, yeah, sure, you might get upset about it. But after a while, it just becomes a frequency where that every hour or two, there's going to be somebody driving down the road doing something dangerous. And so is it really worth getting upset about? I think at some point, it just becomes a probability. And that's what this game, I think, teaches, is that when you meet new people, there's some chance that it doesn't go well, or that they decide that they don't really want to, engage with you, or, be your friend if you're like, in this case. And it's like, that's okay. It's going to happen. Just like you're going to find another road rager if you drive. It's going to happen. But why be upset about it? Anyway, I love these games, but we should probably get to other projects. We're going to go way past 10, which is fine.
Yeah.
But